Hi, welcome to another episode of Trey Talks. I'm live here at SOB's in New York for Soul Therapy Sundays, and I'm sitting down today with the man who made that possible, Mr. Anthony Ponder. How's it going, man?
Thank you for having me, man.
Thanks
Everything's
for
well.
being here. Thanks for having me. First, let's start off talking about your upbringing, your family, your childhood, growing up.
I'm definitely a church kid, through and through. So church feels like every day.
Yeah,
So my mom's a pastor. My dad, not so much, but I grew up as a church kid, just in church all the time.
nice.
That's pretty much it.
Nice.
It's music, anything is musically inspired started there with church. Mom playing records all day. I would just listen to music all the time. So, like everybody else, started in the church choir,
Yeah,
and it kind of evolved from there.
nice. You just answered my next question, which was your introduction to music. Tell me about growing up in church. Did you play instruments or anything of that nature, that sort?
Man, I grew up in Holiness Pentecostal, so
Okay.
if anybody knows anything about Holiness Pentecostal, that's probably the strictest of black church culture, right? So,
No makeup,
no makeup, no earrings,
pants,
no braids, no shorts and rehearsals. And literally, I remember the girls coming to rehearsals and coming from somewhere with their pants on and then needing to change in order to go inside the church just for rehearsal purposes. So, man, I grew up, that's how I grew up. So, in one way, I thought it was, looking back retrospectively, I'm like, that was a lot. But retrospectively, I'm actually really grateful. Because it kind of it gives you a foundation.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are certain parts of me, certain things that, obviously as we're discovering, as we're learning and growing, there are just certain places I just will never go because of my foundation.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for it.
Gotcha. Who are some of your favorite choirs or artists growing up?
Man. It started with the Clark sisters because that's who my mom played. And actually, I don't know if you know this lady, Sandy Patty.
Yes.
I used to listen, and Helen Baylor. These were my mom choices, right? Because I couldn't buy records yet, but this is who I studied initially. The Clark sisters, when I started hearing them harmonize and just the vibes, that was crazy. As I began to grow older, I think my first musical inspiration was James Hall, like where I went really die hard. And now that's evolved into so many other things, but Donald Lawrence is a big contributor to how I write, how I hear music,
Nice.
how I...
Shout out to Donald Lawrence.
Shout out to D. Shout out to D. Lawrence, yes sir. Just his approach to music, the intelligence of it is extremely attractive to me. So right now, Donald is probably my go-to.
Nice. So at what age did you start doing music?
Technically, growing up in the choir, I started being allowed musical freedoms because I was the director. I started becoming in leadership. So probably by my teens, I was already writing music. So I started there. I started rearranging different music within whatever we were doing. So that was my introduction to creatively, publicly creating music. It evolved into artistry, probably years after that. I would say early 20s, writing music and literally beginning to release it commercially.
Nice. You have released 2 albums so far.
Yes, sir.
2012, you did Hear the Sound.
Yep,
With Anthony Ponder and Ministry's Desire.
that's right.
And 2020, The Process, which features some major gospel artists, Sean Mitchell, Natalie Wilson,
Yep.
Lena Bird Miles.
Yep.
Tell me about making those projects, especially working with those artists.
So my first record is eclectic of me just writing music throughout the years, right? So I felt led, it was time to release music. But one of the things actually Donald Lawrence said was, great record. He said, I wanted to be more theme based, right? So when I went into making the second record, by this time I had knowledge, I had wisdom from other people, from mentors, being able to share how to record well, and how to be intentional with it, right? So by the time I got to the process, I was extremely intentional with what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, and kind of, if you listen to all the records, they are all around the same theme,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So one of the things is that working with people you admire, it's both exciting and scary at the same time. Because the thing is that you got to be open to hearing people tell you, like, the stuff isn't as good as you thought, right? So I remember literally, actually, Rashawn was like, man, you got to reapproach this stuff. And the thing is that he told me how to do it. So when I finished the process, again, I used all of that wisdom that I got from people who's done it well, and I released what I believe is a really intentional record.
Nice. Tell me about the difficulties of being a gospel artist, especially an indie gospel artist in this ever-changing genre.
I think one of the most difficult things, I was thinking about this earlier today, is what I would deem as the lack of support from our community, right? So R&B, rock, everything is pretty much started with gospel, right? And yet gospel is the least respected, and I think it's supported genre globally.
Yeah.
Foundationally, we're the beginning. Foundationally, we're in everything. Every greatness pretty much starts with us.
Yep.
But I think the most difficult part is the staying up late writing this music, hearing God's word, and trying to release quality music and not being properly supported.
Yeah.
By everybody who keeps saying, when you gonna release a record? When you gonna buy my record?
Right.
So I think for me right now, that's the most difficult part, trying to understand that.
What inspires and motivates you to keep going as an artist?
When you realize that you get over all those feelings I just talked about and realize it ain't about you anyway. So whether I sell to one person, whether I sell to 1 million people, the assignment is far beyond me. So if that one person that was touched and their lives were changed, and it made it worth it all, that was what I was assigned to do. So that's what makes me keep going on. Understanding the assignment is not about me being selfish, it's about the greater good, which is for the edification of other people.
Yes. Who are some of your favorite artists out today?
PJ Morton, like, I'm rocking him really, really hard right now. I actually just discovered this guy, Junie, so killing him right now. Actually, my very, very favorite artist is actually Janet Jackson.
Really?
So I grew up 80s, 90s, so when I saw music, it was, again, intentional. So we got the big videos, we got the big tours, when we opened the booklets, everything was cohesive. It meant something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm still in love with that era, man. So
Nice. Couple of last questions. What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
I am if that's a word, adventurous person. So I like to do everything. So from skydiving to the normal stuff like movies.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
And honestly, I'm a homebody. So me and Netflix, we good. That's all I'm good with,
Nice. What suggestions, if any, would you give to any young up-and-coming gospel artists?
Certainly. So I think it's really important that you connect with a mentor in some type of capacity. Someone who's doing or has done what you want to do successfully already. So that you don't have to do it alone. And it doesn't take away from your talent, it doesn't take away from your gifting, but why not be mentored by someone else So I think that's really important. It's your surroundings and your team is extremely important because that really helps catapult you to where you need to be and give you the proper support. And the second thing, man, is respect the process, right? So that process is not always easy. Most times it's not. Getting from A to B, nobody talks about that middle part.
Yeah.
So the middle part is where I'm excited. God called me. Boom, boom. That's A. And then he called me to be an artist. That's B.
Yep.
But in between, man, we don't talk about that enough. So really respect the process. It doesn't feel good, but it's for your good. So that's my advice.
Nice. My last question. What's next for Anthony Ponder?
Yes. So now I'm really excited. So I'm getting ready to release my third record called The Grateful Album.
Nice.
Top of the year. I am so excited about this record, man. It's the best I've ever done. So I'm just really, really, really excited. It's coming out top of 2024, finally.
Awesome.
And it's going to be killer. So we got Darryl Walls in it. Like you said, Lena Bird, Lisa Page.
Yeah.
I don't remember everybody else. It's star-studded. My group is amazing, so they're going to kill it. So, yeah, I'm stuttering now because I'm excited. So
Awesome. We can't
Grateful
wait to
album's
hear it.
coming out. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having this conversation with
Thank
me.
you for having me, man.
And
Trey Talks, AP.
Yes, awesome. And until next time.